Okay, so I wasn't even planning on making a video for this because it was supposed to be a bolt-in affair, and it looked like it was gonna be. I got the seat from Sparco, I got the bracket from Sparco, the seat belts are from Sparco, the brackets for the Saturn SC, well, the S-Series cars. And then I bolted it all together, and it bolts together just fine. There is a set of sliders. They do come separately. I was able to use my leftover sliders from my last set of racing seats from like 20 years ago, and they happen to fit and they still work. So I'm using those, so I didn't have to buy new ones, but they are sold separately if you're interested in doing a seat setup. Most seats do not come with a slider, the sliders underneath them. So that all works. It all bolts to the plate, and then I put it in the car and my head hit the roof. So it would be bolt in if I was shorter, but I'm not. So then I had to figure out how to get it lower. Now, this is the Sparco Saturn seat bracket. It's for the Saturn. They made them back in the day, and they will make them again. It's just, you will wait for it. I had to wait like 5 months for this thing. But I had to, let's say, moderately modify it to get it to work. So the way this thing actually comes... So, being a machinist, I get to remove material to save the world, and that's what I did again here. And in order to get this thing to sit right for a 5'10", 5'11" human being such as myself to sit in the car at stock height, that's all the material I had to remove from said bracket. So, originally... this little bit is under here, so it sits up in the front enough to put your hand between the bracket and the floor in the front, and then in the rear, the back sits on these tabs for the back mounting plate, and it sits up kind of like that. Now, so I relocated the holes, so it bolts to the floor, right there, and put them into the plate, and I cut this off and relocated the hole for the front where they bolt to the car. And then it still hangs up on a couple of parts in the floor that are raised. So then I notched out here to clear one. I notched out here to clear another one. And I notched this off to clear a third part of the floor. So now the plate sits directly on the floor. And I was able to drop the rear of the seat like 1.25 inches. I now sit in the seat. I've test fitted it. And I sit exactly where I was sitting in the seats that were in the car before. So that's as low as we're going, but I can do that. It's good. It's comfortable. And the only other thing I had to do is this tab is where you mount like your racing harness or your seatbelt receiver. And it's normally located about here, but since I had to delete this to move this for clearance, this was then in the way, so I moved it back here and left the tab. So I had to re-weld that with my best booger welds I could snot up. And so that's good. And now it does fit and it does work, and now the seat can go in the car. So I'm going to bolt the bracket to the seat now and then take the whole thing out to the car and put that and the harnesses in the car and everything, because I do have 4-point harnesses to go with it, and I'm going to retain this. I have figured out a way to have them both on here so that you get your regular seatbelt when you're driving around town or on the highway, and you can lean forward and you're not strapped in with a 4-point harness, and then you've got the harness when you are actually needing the harness, and it makes drivability with a seat like this just so much more less of a pain in the ass. Alright, so the seat's on the bracket, and I got the seat belt and the one corner of the harness on the bracket. Everything's mounted. It's ready to go put it in the car. Okay, there is one hiccup, and I knew about it, I just forgot about it. It does only go back that far. The slider is a little wider than the stock slider, and it actually hits the one bolt on the console side that bolts the bracket down. But that actually works, because for me, sitting comfortably is 2 clicks ahead of this. So I never needed to go back that far anyway. And it goes all the way forward to give you room to get into the back seat. So I'm perfectly okay with that. So now it's time to get the harnesses installed. Perfect. And that's the seat basically installed. Just got to adjust the strap. So the back ones just go to the factory seatbelt mounts for the rear seats. And I put the other side where the spool for the bottom lap belt is. So that's a seatbelt mount point factory. I just grabbed off of there. I think it turned out pretty good. So we'll see you next time.